going to take a little bit of time to look at the Pro Bowl selections. We all had time to view them real quick. We're going to discuss that a little bit. First of all, I guess question for you guys. They moved the Pro Bowl to Miami, one thing this year, and then none of that, they moved it up to a week before the Super Bowl, which I think is kind of weird. I can understand they're trying to get more interest in the Super Bowl, but in my opinion, that's going to create a lot of problems, especially for the teams that make it that far in the playoffs to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure none of their players are going to play in that game.
Right.
I just want to get any of your thoughts on the changes to the NFL has made to the Pro Bowl.
Well, the move isn't so bad because with it being in Hawaii, that creates a lot of logistical problems, and it also kind of like takes it off the radar. With it being in the same town as the Super Bowl, I agree with. What I don't agree with is them putting it the week before the Super Bowl. This is pretty much saying any guy that's going to be in the Super Bowl, y'all not playing because y'all still working.
You got any thoughts on that, Lawrence?
Yeah, a couple of things. It's kind of off the map a little bit. I think part of the reason the NFL is doing the Super Bowl in Miami now is because Hawaii is expensive. That's an expensive trip, and you're sending, you know, like I'm guessing, like close to 100 guys.
Yeah, Miami's a hotter town right now anyway.
Yeah,
it's more of a, you know, the in town the go to is like the new LA now.
Yeah, yeah, and then the other thing is, like I said, this is a little off the map, but what's his name? One of Obama's residences is in Hawaii. So it kind of makes me wonder if that's for security purposes as well. But I don't know. But yeah, I think it's kind of weird. But just play it out and see how it goes. But yeah, I don't think any of the Super Bowl starters, you know, if anyone's a starter in the Pro Bowl and they're going to be in the Super Bowl, they're definitely not going to play.
But that does open up the door for some of the people that won't get a chance. You know, because the Pro Bowl roster is only so big.
Right.
There are a lot of guys we're gonna talk about in a second that aren't on the roster, and now that gives them a chance to play.
Yep.
So that's the one good thing about it.
Yep.
So let's look at some of those people. But first, let's just give congratulations to the two Browns that made it. Joe Thomas, the third year in a row. Is that for him? And then Josh Cribbs, I think that's his second time in 3 years for making the roster. Then for the Steelers, it was James Harrison.
Right.
I think that's it. That is third or second Pro Bowl. But let's talk about anybody else on that list that stands out for you guys. Of course, Peyton Manning made it again. Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins. Some of the normal guys you normally see. Anybody new on that list stands out?
Well, no. Well, Ray Rice a little bit stands out. But what really stands out to me is an old name on the list is Tom Brady. I mean, was he really that much better than Matt Schaub? That's my question.
Okay, and that might be one of our snubs we get to in a second. Maybe Matt Schaub. Anybody stand out for you, Lawrence?
Yeah. Just watching a video earlier, and Deshaun Jackson's first time anyone's made the Pro Bowl under two positions as kick returner and receiver. So he had a good year this year. So he stands out for me.
All right, let's talk about some of the snubs. Let's start with the AFC first of all. I thought Cedric Bishop should have been on the list. He got left off. But of course, there's only room for so many.
Right.
He was the first snub that stood out to me. I thought Lamar Williams should have been there also. Because at times this year, he's carried the Steelers defense with Palomalo out. They start doubling James Harrison.
Right.
Anybody else got any other snubs in the AFC?
Like I mentioned, Matt Schaub and Thomas Jones. If memory serves correctly, didn't Matt Schaub go to UVA?
I don't know.
I know Thomas Jones did.
Yeah.
And
anybody for you, Lawrence?
Well, we talked about Randy Moss, but when you look at the other wide receivers, Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne are the starters, then Brandon Marshall and Wes Welker, his teammate, who actually has like way more receptions than Randy Moss. It's hard to fit him in. So.
Yeah, but he still was like second in yards, Randy Moss.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But then it's like they go by touchdowns too, which I'm not sure how many he had, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it probably wasn't enough comparatively to what he's done before. So.
All right. Anybody in the NFC that got snubbed? Start with you, Derek. Don't say Kurt Warner.
Well, Kurt got a little too turnover happy, so he really didn't make it. But gotta salute Cleveland cat, London Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
He made it or he didn't?
He didn't make it. I mean,
which is amazing. He hasn't made it in what 16 years now. And
yeah,
he's probably one of the most. He's probably one of the best linebackers in the league.
Most consistent too.
Yeah, Marshall Faulk was big up in him in a big way. He was like, that dude's been a leader since he came in the league. He's been a tackling machine on any team he's been on.
He may make the Hall of Fame, but never make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
That's a good possibility.
And he came out of John Carroll, and guess who one of his John Carroll teammates was?
Who?
Josh McDaniel.
Okay.
Interesting.
Anybody in the NFC, Lawrence?
In addition to London Fletcher, there's a possibility you could say Tony Gonzalez. I mean, he's been a perennial Pro Bowler for years. Who got him instead was Vernon Davis, who leads all tight ends with touchdowns, and then Jason Witten from the Cowboys. So I mean, there could be some argument, but yeah, possibly Gonzalez.
One thing Warren Sapp said is that when you switch conferences like that, because if people are used to seeing Tony Gonzalez on the AFC side of the ballot, but when you switch to the NFC side, Sapp knows a little bit about that going from Tampa Bay to Oakland.
Right.
You need to really stand out. You really need to put
sucked
that stamp on it.
Oakland.
If you look at a guy like Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins made his mark when he went from the NFC to the AFC. So that's why he got on. But Tony Gonzalez kind of. I mean, then again, in Atlanta,
he still had 80.
Atlanta's very.
80 some receptions.
I mean, he represented. He put it down.
Which I guess is down for him, considering he's had 100 receptions before.
But even for a tight end, he putting it down. He's still putting it down. He's still representing, but it's not quite numbers. I mean, Atlanta's not a premier market. Atlanta's not a place where you get noticed. Denver is one of them AFC teams to get noticed. Atlanta is kind of more one of the nondescript NFC teams.
All right,
so
one of the
that's another thing.
One of the people I thought from the NFC that got snubbed, I thought Percy Harvin, the year he had, I thought he should have got some consideration because as an all-purpose player, he did a little bit of everything.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And then Nick Collins, I think, from Green Bay, especially with when the other corner went down, Harris went down. Nick Collins, we stuck his game up at safety. And
they got him at reserve.
Oh, he's on reserve.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well.
Yeah, that'd have been a stab in the arm. If Nick Collins had made.
All right. Well, that's our Pro Bowl talk for this segment. When we come back, we're gonna have maybe a trivia update, and then we'll sign off from there and start looking forward to the playoffs.
Playoffs.